everybody, and welcome back to another episode of It's Poppin. I'm Mychal.
And I'm Tesha.
And we're here today to discuss different career opportunities that are associated with our majors of study with school.
Yes.
So, Tesha, since this show was your idea, I think you should get us started.
I would love to. Okay, this one is like a no-brainer. As you know, my major is liberal arts. Not literal arts, liberal arts. I don't know why I said that. But anyway, so the first one I'm going to talk about is the job of teaching. So it has a history that dates back to the 16th century. And as you know, there probably weren't that many people who knew how to read. Mm-hmm. So their main focus of reading, like their goal was just to learn how to read the Bible. And then around the 1830s, there was a gentleman by the name of Horace Mann that came along, and he led the movement for the common education ground for all children. He wanted where it would be possible for all children, despite their socioeconomic backgrounds, to have an education. Now, we're talking about the 1830s. Now, I don't know if it was all, but we're going to leave it at that.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying. But I think that's really nice that he made that possible. And as far as the income, now, of course, if the teacher has like most experience, they're gonna get the bigger pay. So the approximate salary that a teacher would get in a year would be $63,000. Now, if a teacher has more than 10 years experience, they can get up to $90,000. And I think that may also depend on demographics as well.
Yeah, like where the school is, funding of the school system or
type
the district in that. Yeah, the type of school. Is it a charter? Is it public? Is it private?
True.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Or if it's one of those ones that have, like those magna art schools with the advanced study, that may have a lot to do with determining what the teacher receives as a salary. And then, of course, with any job, there's, the pros and cons. So, of course, the first pro I would think would be that you have, the ability to encourage, intellect, with, impressionable young minds, because you're working with, future doctors, future lawyers, future teachers even. Mm-hmm. So you kind of giving them that leading pathway to their, road of education. And then another one that would be a good pro, of course, it provides, good job security. You have your retirement plans, your good benefits, vision, dental, things we need. Mm-hmm. And, that's always a plus. The only thing I would say that would not be a plus is, of course, they are only in the schools, for the school year. So I've seen cases where teachers had to either work during the summer school session or they would go get jobs somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And so that would roll into the cons. And another con that I find with teaching would be that you have to have patience, because you're working for 8 hours in a day with children with all kind of personalities. You have to be analytical. This is where you find out, which children have the learning problems, which children may have vision difficulties. That's where all that comes in there. So you really have to be up on your analytical. And of course, standardized testing, that's a stress level to high degrees, for the teachers. I can just imagine, because you're making the preparations for the students, and then, according on what the children's performance is, on the scores, the teacher's going to be held responsible for that. So that's like a whole new level to deal with of stress.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that would be very stressful. So that's like my first profession that I can think of that would come under liberal arts. I don't know why I keep saying literal arts. I am stuck on that for some damn reason. And so and then I have two other ones that I'd like to share as well and get them out the way if you don't mind. So my other one, the second one that I found, was working as an editor.
Nice. Okay.
You know, that's another one that I did not know had been around for as long as it has. It goes back to back into the early, like 1600s actually.
Okay.
And they were basically people who was already doing the job anyway. They were, you know, putting together the manuscript, arranging the pages, fixing typos. Well, you know, they call them typographical errors, but we call them typos now. So they were already doing these type of jobs anyway in the field. And then when it became a great increase of literacy, you know, when everybody was more and more people learning how to read, and they had more reading materials available, such as newspapers and books, saying that, so that became the working with editorship became higher in demand. So of course you got to have, you know, different levels of what's the word I'm looking for? Of experience. I'll go with that. And as well as, you know, expertise, like I just said. And their annual income that they receive is around the same as the teacher, is $63,000. And one thing I would say that's good about being an editor, and this is, I'm going into my pros, is that it's a diverse job market. You can basically go any place and find, you know, positions that are needed to be an editor. You can go to not just working with the press, but you can go into the government, the military, you know, any corporate job, you know, basically any place that they have like a print that they put out monthly, like Harvard University. I know they probably have a real, you know, sophisticated editor program there. Not program, but, you know, the feel of it. And that's just an example that I can think of. And then, of course, this is a field that you could put all your creativity out and put it into print. So I can see that. Now, two things that I would say that would be problematic to being an editor would be you dealing with deadlines. You know, you got to have something out by a certain date. That's stressful because they probably, you know, lose a lot of sleep. You know, they put in a lot of hours, burning the midnight oil, burning the candle at both ends, so to speak. So that's stressful, and it's a sedentary job. So you sit at a desk for hours. You know, you looking at a screen for hours on end, you know, dealing with eye strain, back pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, you know, all of that. So that's why I think now is a reason why they're encouraging, you know, physical activity in the workplace. Because it's needed, because you got to get out, circulate. You got to get those endorphins and brain power going.
Right.
You know, that's needed, because you got to move around. You're not meant to sit around for hours at a time. And so that's my next one is another job that also is sedentary, and that is working as a historian. That also has a lot of roots back. You know, this goes all the way back to, you know, the 5th BCE, and another noted person I can think of that worked as a historian that you probably heard of Herodotus?
No.
Yeah, he was known for just recording the facts. He didn't want to glorify the facts. He just put the facts as they were.
Right, as they are. Okay,
yeah,
right.
That's probably like why, and I forgot to mention Thomas Edison and Joseph Pulitzer. They were some noted people in the editorial world. I forgot to mention them, because they dealt with the facts. And their annual income is around $64,000, and I guess depending on the experience, they get more. You know, especially if you've been in the business for a long time. That's also a very diverse job market, because you can get jobs as a historian, not just, you know, in a museum, but you can go work for the government, schools.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, that could take you multiple places.
Yeah, it's really diverse. I like jobs that provide a diverse alternative for something. You know, that's good to have. And then they got their pros and cons. And one of the things that I was saying, a pro would be that it's another job that you put in your creativity to work. But then you get to work with complex issues and do a lot of research, and, you know, you put all your input in, and then that's, as I said, it's diverse. And as I said also, it's a sedentary job, because you work in solitary, you working for hours on end. You have to be very analytical, because you got people depending on, you know, your findings.
But I can also maybe, I mean, I don't know if this is like more of a question or a comment or something. I don't know, just an anecdote. But like, as a historian, you might be able to get out the office a little bit, being able to travel and stuff
Yeah,
like that, or like
yeah.
going to the sites and stuff that you are, that you're chronicling the history for.
You would think it. I would imagine, because I don't know why they described it like that, because there's some way that they have to go do their research. Some
Right.
research takes you out there on the field, you know, and that's something that I don't think people ever think about, because you know how you look at something on National Geographic or something and they're showing some pyramids, and then they probably have historians there on site, you know, putting down the history of it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so I can see that. And then another thing that people don't usually think about is that they usually have limited funds. They have to depend on donations and whatever they have on hand. So that's one thing I can say. They have limited resources. So those are mine. So I would love to hear about yours, because I told you I told you all that I could think of. So what you got?
So my first career is an account executive.
Oh.
Okay. And this is a newer career.
Oh, I never heard of it.
I don't want to say like newer, but like new-ish. Like your careers went back, far. This one is like, you know, in the current century. That it popped up and got popularized, and that there was a need for it. So an account executive is a liaison that builds and maintains relationships with clients to support like organizations that work together. So for instance, if I was in tech sales and I sold you the tech item that I sold, you would then get an account executive to be the intermediary, just to make sure everything goes smooth. So they help you with strategy, reporting of how the product is working. You would go to them if something wasn't working. And it's across a variety of industries. So account executives can work in PR, finance, and like I said, tech. And the high end salary is $153,000 a year, which I really like, which sounds like really cool. But I didn't even say what my major is. Excuse me. My major is business, which is very broad and general, which is cool, because then you can do a lot of broad and general things. So like the careers I chose do kind of span the gambit of what you can do. So yeah, an account executive can work from home as well. I wanted to make a point to highlight careers that could be done from home, which means they could be done really anywhere over the world if your company gives you autonomy to do so, which for me, because of how my life is, how my family structure is, I want to work from home ultimately once I complete school, and it's something that is really important to me. Almost at this point is a deal breaker. Being able to be there for my kids in real time is really important. So I am only going to entertain the idea of being in a career that allows for that.
I love that.
So that was my first one. A second one is a social media marketing manager.
Ooh, that's a lot in that title.
Yeah. So, as you know, there's a lot of money to be made on social media. There are a lot of pathways in which that money can be made. And some people now, because they have become so large and have like hundreds of thousand followers, or even in some cases millions of followers, they need people to manage their accounts and manage the scope of that. So this career has gotten popular, I would say, within the last 15 years with like the surge of social media popularity. So a social media manager creates content, most importantly, so you can hire them to create content or like manage the creation of content for you. They also post and upload your content. They'll manage your social media accounts. So if you have a Twitter and a TikTok and a Facebook and an Instagram and a Threads account, they will manage all of those accounts so that you can just be who you are, and that they can just put the content up for you, and the money basically makes itself.
So they kind of like they're the one who gets everything rolling in the background.
Well, they keep it rolling.
Okay.
Because in a sense, like, say, because a lot of different people can use social media managers. So like a person could, like me, if I was an influencer, I could have a social media marketing manager. But also companies can use them, because like the ball is already rolling. They have a following. But now that we know that social media is integral to like sales and keeping companies relevant, especially companies that sell things, it's important to be posting within a schedule, have your account look uniform. And this is what these people are paid to do. So in addition to that, they analyze performance and seek out trends and help you work your way into a higher place in the algorithm using those trends and the performance analytics. They also report those results to you, so then you could strategize to either to grow your reach or like pivot if something isn't working. They also synthesize data, and so that can be shared with social media platforms to better serve the people that use it.
I have a question. Do a lot of the social media influencers use the managing mark? What's the name of the manager?
A social media marketing manager. Yes, they do.
Okay.
A lot of people do. Some people control all their content still, even with at hundreds of thousand followers or even millions of followers. Some people are just want to control their own brand, which I can totally respect. But I also think that it's pretty neat to be able to outsource that and have the opportunity to like be the entity, while what makes you money is kind of making money on its own. And there's also platforms that you can like load up your content in, and it will automatically post it for you. So you post, like, you put in your video and the caption you want, and you set the time, and at that said time it'll post it for you. So AI is kind of getting in there, but I don't think that AI can replace like human interaction and what a human can do as far as like understanding what your demographic wants and needs. The top of the salary for a social media marketing manager is $109,000 a year, which I really like. Also, another job you can do from home and anywhere in the world if the company that you work for allows it. And this can also be a freelance or like contract 1099 position as well. You can like be your own social media marketing agency.
And how do they get paid? Do they get paid from what the social media influencer earns, or are they paid separately?
Yeah, so it's like the same thing. I don't know exactly. So like if you work for a company, you're going to get paid from the company. But say I go in like as a consultant or I'm like freelance, what I would get paid directly from the social media influencer. And then I would set my rate based on what the market rate is and my experience. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that. That's a profession that I never heard of. And I like it. It sounds exciting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, with the surge of like people making a substantial living online, people want to hold that. Like, I'd want to hold that too. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's taking it in high demand right now. Working anything with dealing with social media.
Okay, so I have another one, which is it's the oldest profession.
Oh. Oh, okay.
It's the oldest profession that's on my list.
Okay, I was when you said oldest.
Oh right, no, I know. Oh my gosh, no. This is a family show.
Yes.
It's the oldest profession that I have on my list of careers to share.
Okay.
So, it's a human resources specialist.
Okay.
Which can be done once again from anywhere, depending on what type of company you work for, and the autonomous setup of your employer. So a human resources specialist is in charge of recruitment, so getting new employees, and advertising when a new position is open, onboarding. So once those new employees do come on board, they are, helping them fill out their new hire paperwork, getting them their desk or their office keys, access to buildings, parking spaces, things like that. They also are in charge of policy implementation, which is really important, because if you think like if employers didn't have policies, then like a lot of craziness would go on.
Oh yeah,
for sure. They do employee resolution. So say I'm having an issue with my coworker, I go to HR, and the HR resources specialist would be the person that would help me with that, help me navigate that. If say I have a spat or something with a coworker, and we both end up having to like go to a training, the human resources specialist would make sure that, the training was all set up and we knew all the details of it, XYZ. They also handle general training of staff as well. They keep records. So, HR is in charge of records of past employees and current employees. I can't remember how long a company is supposed to hold on to records of past employees, but I believe it's a certain amount of time before they can, offload any of that information. HR in some cases also handles offboarding. If an employee is let go, they would liaise the ending of that employee relationship. Not as far as letting an employee know that they're fired, but they would then, once you have been dismissed or you're separating yourself, you deal with HR as far as benefit transferring, 401k switching over, anything like that, your sick time that's going to be paid out, XYZ. And also, HR resource specialist is in charge of compliance, which is really important, making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And lastly, safety is a part of that too. But I know some companies have contractors or a separate position altogether for who is in charge of safety of the employees.
It's necessary to have HR in the job fields.
No, it's very necessary because it allows for checks and balances. Like the government has it, So why wouldn't an employer have it? And it's HR is really meant for like a behind covering. It's like HR has the back of the company. It is to have your back too if you need something, but it's also like within the best interest of the company to have your back. So therefore, HR has the back of the company. And the high end of the salary for a human resources specialist is $114,000 a year in California.
That's pretty decent. That's
if you're
pretty
doing
decent.
your thing, that's like if you're working in tech or finance, or for a bigger company. Yeah, you can get up there when you're working in HR. So that brings me to the end of my list for the careers that you can do with a degree in just general business. Tisha, thank you so much.
Thank you
for your contributions.
Thank you. I enjoyed putting it together, and hopefully the information that I provided for what you can do under the major of liberal arts, maybe it'd be something that someone can find of interest. Because I know that I started out wanting to do teaching. Now I think I may want to look into something else. Because sometimes that happens.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you take up, when you have a major and then you find that you may not feel the passion that you thought was there.
Right, right.
And that nothing wrong with that because it happens.
It does. But I think that's the beauty of being able to like do the research and learn what's out there, what's best. Like, I know that what motivates everyone is different. Like me personally, I'm motivated by being able to work from home and money, so like I want something that I want a position that has a high salary cap once I get out of school. So it's just all about what you want and what you need, and that's why school takes so long, so you can figure out what you want to do while you're doing it.
And it's worth it in the end, when you find something that you're passionate about. Because if you don't have any passion for it, you're not going to put all your best effort into it.
Facts. These things are true. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for another show. We're looking forward to seeing you guys soon. Come back and see us on It's Poppin'.
Bye.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether you're commentating a live game,
or hosting your own TV show,
or working behind the scenes, then this is the class for you.
For more information, contact Greg Poff, that's me, at solano.edu.
We hope to see you here next semester, and remember,
it's more than just sports, it's an education.